I ain't your hero, I'm a mirror. Everything you scared of getting clear. You want lit, I want legends. I want 10 treasure, not a 10 pleasure. You want likes, I want leverage. Talk goes, where the evidence? You post quotes, I post statements. My spreadsheets read like a sentence, yeah. I seen boys turn to bosses. New teeth, same losses. New chain, same habits. New lane, same traffic. You can't fake what the math said. Them graphs cut deeper than a clapback. I don't argue, I just tab that. You want smoke, I want call back. I'm argumentative, not your mascot. I don't hype you, I hold that stopwatch. You say pressure, I say practice. You say block, I say back to the basics, yeah. Numbers don't lie, you just don't listen. You want vibes, I want vision. All that flash, that's kid stuff. Gon' talk, little boy, this big. I'm argumentative, check my record. You want crowns, I want effort. If the grind don't match your sentence, then the sky you claim off limits. I built mine in the blizzard, Southside winners in my whisper. Salt on my Timbs, not on dinners. I was broke, but I was in bed, I was busy. Clocked in when they logged off, turn pressure into product. Turn losses into law books, facts over gossip. You chase trends, I chase time. You chase cosigns, I chase spine. You want shortcuts, I want shoulder work. You want overnight, I want sober work. Them gurus talking circles, say a lot. Moving circle, post just, they don't own. Can't go ghost on the phone. I don't need a running roof for respect. I got mentees paying mortgages off checks. I got kids that went from debit into red to black cars, black shoes, black ink on the pledge, yeah. I'm ornamental, not your mascot. I don't hype you, all that stopwatch. You say pressure, I say practice. You say block, I say back to the basics. Hey, numbers don't lie, you just don't listen. You want vibes, I want vision. All that flash, that's kid stuff. Grown talk, little boy, this bitch. I'm ornamental, check my record. You want crowns, I want effort. If the grind don't match your sentence, then the sky you claim off limits. You want a father or a fan. You want a plan or a scam. You want a blueprint or a brand. You want a grown man or a grand. I ain't here to hold your hand, I'm here to show you what you ran from. Been a coach that cut you so you come back built. Nah, comfortable, yeah. I'm ornamental, not your mascot. I don't hype you, I hold that stopwatch. You say pressure, I say practice. You say block, I say back to the basics, yeah. Numbers don't lie, you just don't listen. You want vibes, I want vision. All that flash, that's kid stuff. Grown talk, little boy, this bitch. I'm ornamental, check my record. You want crowns, I want effort. If the grind don't match your sense, then the sky you claim off limits. Cold city, cold winds, same storm, different skin. You want fame, I want finish. You want feel, I want figure. Say my name with your chest, I'm monumental. This grown man measure. Yeah.
Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
Stay nice, same chair, same ground, right there. Turn it on, lean in close, this that. Welcome to the Mark, the mentor show, where the plans turn real and the hustlers grow. Talk money, talk mindset, talk get it, let's go. If you came from the bottom, it's the road you know. It's the Mark, the mentor show. Every loss, every lesson, turn it all to gold. From the late night notes to the sold out goals. Say the name one time so the whole world know.
Whoa, the Mark, the mentor show. Whoa, the Mark, the mentor show. Whoa, the Mark, the mentor show.
The Mark, the mentor show.
What's going on? Come on in, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on all post notifications, and need a commercial insurance for your semi-truck, box truck, cargo van business. There's a link in the description. There's a phone number in the description as well for Log Rock for renewal, looking for a more affordable solution for insurance for your business, for your transportation business. There's a link and a phone number in the description below for Log Rock, official partner of the channel. Come on in. Make sure you guys click that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on all post notifications. How's everybody doing? What's today? Thursday. What's today? Thursday, February 12th. Happy Thursday. Come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to CTR Logistics, MGM Gang. Shout out to M Jackson, part of the MGM Gang. Got to get me a custom drop for MGM. We need to get on that. We're gonna come up with a custom drop for MGM Gang members. Shout out to Moving Company Hustle. Shout out to Pippi. Shout out to the moderators. Shout out to Almighty Transportation. Shout out to Thomas Fowler. Shout out to Jason representing the crib. And he's an MGM Gang member. Shout out to Delani 2K, MGM Gang. Who else we got? Shout out to Shark Life, Bobby L's MGM Gang. Representing Ohio. Shout out to SD. Shout out to Bayway Logistics, representing Tampa. Shout out to D-Wayne. What up, what up, what up? Shout out to David. What up, what up? Shout out to Rick Way. Is Rick Way Ty? Because I see Rick Way a lot in here. And this look like it might be Ty. Is this Ty? Yeah. Is Rick Way Ty? 216, is that Cleveland? Let me know if that's you, Ty. Why you change your name? Shout out to B-Made, represent Michigan, MGM Gang. Shout out to Michael Robinson, representing Newburgh, New York, represent that MGM Gang as well. Shout out to Big Bertha Silverado, what up, representing that MGM thing. Shout out to Chris P, what up? Okay, Rick Way is Ty. Ty changed his name. Shout out to Dunn Beasley, what up, MGM Gang. Shout out to Ripple Rick. What down, what down, what down, what down, what down, what down, what down. Come on in, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Got a good show scheduled for you guys today. Was going to go in a different direction today, but I woke up feeling a little bit different. So we switch directions. All right, so first, I want to cover a few things. In this monologue. First thing, I got a comment this morning, and I love comments that challenge Big Mark. Because you know, Big Mark, I'm just going to turn them into teachable moments on the show. Just so you just know, it's fine to challenge Big Mark in the comment section. Just make sure before you do it, you think it through. Think it through. And make sure you just not responding from emotion, or you're not thinking it through before you respond, because maybe it's something you missed. And that's the point why you're here. Because if I'm cooking up with somebody on the show when they call in, I may just be covering certain things that surface level pertaining to the reason they call. I may not be going all the way in depth. And you may respond because you're doing something and you think what you're doing is right and what you're doing is wrong. I'm not going to say something that's incorrect. My whole channel is built on not misleading people. A lot of people get misled. All right. So there was a guy that called up to the show a couple weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago. And we clipped it up already. It was actually released yesterday or maybe a few days ago. It was this guy, the 7-day-a-week Curry for Walmart guy. So if you were watching the show that day, you know who I'm talking about. Let's see if I can blow this up. Yes. All right. So got a comment this morning from a longtime watcher. And hold on. I want to blow it up bigger. All right, so let's do this. Why is it not? It just got real big. Hold on, guys. I may have to get one of them pad things. Hold on. Fuck it. Y'all just gonna have to deal with it like this. Anyway, he said transfer. It was just real big a minute ago. He said transferring money from your business account. First, let me say this. The whole reason this guy called in was because he wasn't doing his bookkeeping. He called in to get help for his bookkeeping. He said, Mark, I want to do this right. I know I'm not doing it right. I want to do it right. That was the whole point of him calling into the show. The people that call into the show is to get help. He was not doing his bookkeeping. He was doing it wrong. So this guy, H, who watches the channel, you know, he's not a hater watcher. He's a friendly watcher. He said transferring money from your business account to your personal account is called an owner's distribution. Business owners who are structured as an LLC pay themselves, give me a second, let me move this out the way. Pay themselves this way. There is nothing illegal about it. Just look up the meaning of owner distribution or draw. Then what he really fucked me up was with the SMH. He fucked me up with that SMH shit. There you go. He fucked me up right here with the SMH. Yeah, because I'm like, man, you one of my loyal watchers, man. You gonna hit me with the SMH? You hit Big Mark with the SMH like Big Mark don't know what he talking about? You know, Big Mark jump right back under there. You think I don't know the difference? I will explain the difference to you on today's show. I'm with it. I'm with all the smoke. Listen, Mark don't never duck no smoke. Now he just responded to that recently. I didn't know, but I see it now. So let's read it together. I wrote that comment after listening for the first minute or two. And I tell y'all all the time, stop jumping to conclusions too prematurely. A lot of people make mistakes because they hear something and they don't allow the video or the stream to go, or they come into a stream in the middle and they didn't get the context of why we are where we are when they decide to start watching. I wrote that comment after listening to a minute or two. All right. And mind you, the whole video is, I don't know, maybe 46 minutes. 46 minutes. After listening a minute or two, when you ask him how he paid himself. Later in the video, I did hear you kind of break it down. So I know you know. However, why did you make it seem like he was doing something wrong at the beginning for him taking owner's distributions? He was wrong by not keeping them consistent. We can all agree on that. I disagree on that. I disagree. He's not structured as an S Corp. Just curious. What are we going to learn today? We're going to learn today. So you want to know, why did you make it seem like he was doing something wrong at the beginning for him taking owner's distributions? Because he was doing something wrong. And he wasn't taking an owner's distribution. There's one thing that makes it an owner's distribution versus commingling funds. And can anybody tell me what that one thing is? If I told him he was commingling funds, it's because he was commingling funds. You just can't take money from a business account and transfer it because you want to. That's why I said you're commingling funds. If he called in because he's not doing his bookkeeping to get help with his bookkeeping, that means he's not doing proper bookkeeping. So you're asking me, why did I make it seem like he's doing something wrong? Because he is doing something wrong. If you're not keeping proper bookkeeping and you're just transferring money from your business account to your personal account, that's commingling funds. So I understand. I get it. I'm just a black dude with dreads from Chicago. So, you know, I'll listen to you, but you know, you just, I get it. You know, I get it. So we gotta show you what the proper people, the people who we really respect, what they have to say. Just make sure that Big Mark is not telling you no bullshit. You dig what I'm saying? All right. What is proper? You can move money from a business to personal when it is clearly labeled as one of the following. Owner draw. You're taking profit out of the business. For example, you made $5,200, you transfer $1,500, you label it. Or in other words, you itemize it as owner's draw. Perfectly legal. What is commingling? Commingling happens when the separation between you and the business disappears. This is what destroys the LLC protection. Examples: random transfers with no purchase. Big Bertha Silverado, you got it before I even got to it. Random transfers with no purpose. We also see a lot of people pay their bills out of it, their business account, groceries, send shit, money to their baby mama, shit like that. Sending money back and forth constantly to cover stuff. No bookkeeping labels. What I want you guys to focus on for this particular instance is random transfers with no purpose and no bookkeeping labels. So when the IRS looks at it, if you get audited, they just see you're transferring money consistently for the past year, Zelling it from your business or whatever, transferring from your business account. Obviously, if you got the same bank and you got a personal checking and you got a business checking, you can just transfer that money with no purpose. It's commingling funds. The information is in the detail. So when I told him he was commingling funds, because he was commingling funds, the whole purpose of him calling in is because he was not doing his bookkeeping correctly. He said, I need help. I want to know how to pay myself. I love when y'all challenge me. I love it because it just turns into a teachable moment. Because see, you fucked me up right here. This is where you fucked me up at. You fucked me up right here with the SMH. See, the SMH is like, nigga, you don't know what you talking about. I watch you shaking my head, nigga. You don't know no better? SMH. Oh, you fucked me up with that. See, I would have left it alone if you wouldn't have put the SMH right there. I would have just let it fly. But I had to get you, big dog. I had to get you. But it's all from love. Because it's a teachable moment. You just can't just be moving money. You got to itemize everything. Everything has to be, keyword, accounted for. So if you're just snatching money because you feel, because the IRS is looking at it like you just commingling, you just taking money. That's why I told him he was commingling funds. Now, if he would have presented it as he was doing proper distribution, then I wouldn't have told him that he was commingling funds. I know what commingling funds is. That's why I told him he was commingling funds. Commingling. Now that we got that out the way. Next, there's a video that has gone kind of viral in the trucking space. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. And I didn't see the video. I just been seeing the reaction of the backlash of the video, particularly with one content creator on Instagram who I guess reacted to the viral video of this young lady. And she responded to the one content creator. And I kind of touched on it yesterday by calling them all type of bitches. Excuse me. But I never saw the video, I guess, because the video was because I did go to her page But I guess the video was in a story from earlier this week or maybe earlier last week, and you know stories disappear. But this morning, my chick sent me the actual video, I guess, because she wants to see my response to it. So she sent me this video randomly this morning. I'm like, okay, this is the video because this is the chick that has kind of gone viral. But I never saw the video. I just see the back and forth between her and the one content creator who is a male, who is, you know, known for going back and forth with content creators on Instagram. And she's calling them all type of bitches and bitch ass this and bitch ass niggas and shit like that. So what I want to do is I want to look at the video and I want to react to it and just kind of understand what's going on here.
Dear Warehouse Man, please let me explain to y'all how fucking annoying and creepy it is for y'all to fucking sit there and watch a bitch unload her whole motherfucking truck. Like, that's so fucking annoying to me. That is creepy. Like, you just literally stand there and watch me. Literally watch me unload my truck and you're just standing there. And then whatever other truck drivers are in the bays next to me come over there and stand and watch me. Now I feel like a fucking circus freak show because y'all are watching me unload my goddamn truck instead of fucking helping. Like, what kind of men are y'all? That shit blows me. It blows me. Then y'all want to hold small talk. Bitch, I'm working. I don't want to talk about how long I've been driving and do I fucking like it. Y'all so
Bitch, that is your load, ho. I'm not helping you with a motherfucking thing. You took that goddamn job, not me. The fuck is you talking about? I'm all for gender equality. That means that if you can pick that goddamn job, you can pick up that heavy ass shit.
Dear Warehouse.
All right. So I want to watch it again and I want to stop it. It's like 2 or 3 things that she said that I want to react to.
Man, please let me explain to y'all how fucking annoying and creepy it is for y'all to fucking sit there and watch a bitch unload her whole motherfucking.
Now, you hear how she, you know, remember I did the little satire last week when I said, you know, the women now, they be like, if you really fuck with a bitch, send a bitch something. This is how they talk about it. So don't think that when I be saying this shit, like, I'm from the crib, so the women here talk like niggas. They talk like dudes, like having a conversation. The chick could be bad, and the only difference you could tell is a woman is because she got a woman voice, but they project, they vernacular, and it's nigga talk. And, you know, she's kind of, you know, so she's calling herself help a bitch and this, then the third.
Truck. Like, that's so fucking annoying to me. That is creepy. Like, you just literally stand there and watch me. Literally watch me unload my truck and you're just standing there.
All right, so boom, let me talk about that. I went to her page and I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I know why they standing there watching you. She ain't bad looking. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. She ain't bad looking. So you got drivers, especially OTR drivers, and we kind of had this conversation last night in the Discord, as it pertained to the lady that called up 53 and Fine a few days ago, and we was just talking about her Instagram, and I'm like, man, you know, I think somebody said, Mark, why you didn't pull it on the screen? I'm just like, man, I ain't, you know what I'm saying, I ain't want to do that to her. But I was saying, like, man, a lot of these OTR truckers, they'll hit anything. Not everybody, but a lot of these OTR guys, they'll hit anything. You know which ones that hit anything. The same ones that fucking with the lot lizards. The big belly motherfuckers that you see in the truck stop with the stains and shit on their shirts, and they ain't clean shaven and they just fucked up out. They be smelling and they got the flip flops and you see they toes with the yellow toenails and them type of guys. Listen. It's the truth. So now when you see something come through that's diesel, these are men. I'm just gonna call it what it is. A lot of these men is over the road. They're men. I went to her Instagram. She got a few posts where she's on her truck working. She has the skims or the fitted leggings or jeggings or whatever they call it, the fitted shit where you show your curves and shit. These are men. They don't see a woman come through these docks and shit driving a truck like that. Now, you add that on top of the fact that you decent. You decent. These are men. Yeah, they're going to stand there and they going to do creepy shit because these are truckers and warehouse men, and this is what they do. It's just like a woman 20, 25, 30 years ago walking past a construction site. What would the construction workers do? They'd whistle. I can't whistle, so they'll be like, they'll do that. Something like that. I can't whistle. That they used to do that back in the day. So you are in a male-dominated industry. And I'm giving you a compliment. You're pretty. These dudes will hit some fugly shit. They'll hit some shit that's fugly. So now you come through diesel, they gonna stop and look and stare and admire. Yes, today's society, women think it's creepy. But they're men.
And then whatever other truck drivers are in the bays next to me come over there and stand and watch me. Now I feel like a fucking circus freak show because y'all are watching me unload my goddamn truck.
So the warehouse people and other truckers, yeah, they coming over. Like I said, the truckers, she said, keyword, look like a circus freak show. The reason why she feels like that is because she's an anomaly. You are in a male-dominated industry, and a lot of the women that are in this industry, and listen. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You got a lot of women influencers that are in trucking. They look good, but like your everyday woman that's driving, that's not an influencer that I see. Listen, I ain't gonna say it, but y'all know. Don't hold me up on charges. Y'all know what it is. I ain't gonna say it. Y'all know what it is. So I understand why she feel like the freak show, but she got to understand what she got into. You in a male-dominated industry. These dudes is over the road. They're away. They not getting that. They not hitting. They not getting that. So now here you pull up in the truck. And you decent. You ain't ugly. You decent. They gonna look. They used to seeing fuglies at the truck stop. So I get it. They probably will stand around, but you gotta look at it from you got the shit on. You in the truck with the aloe, the fitted Lulu. It's fitted. You see it. You see that ass. You see them hips, that figure. It's decent. Chucky says she's not even all that. We comparing it to what's out there. In comparison to what's out there, like what we seen called up the other day, it's day and night, bro. It's day and night. I get you, Chucky. I feel you, but we working on a curve scale. We curving the scale right now. It's on the curve. We grading it on the curve. We grading this on the curve. Don't you remember how the teacher used to have to grade on the curve for certain things? We grading this on the curve. So in comparison to the majority, yeah, they gonna stand around and they gonna look.
Instead of fucking helping. Like, what kind of men are y'all? That shit blows me.
Why would they help? Why would they help? They're not getting paid for that. So this goes back to the conversation we had 2 months ago where I came under fire from a lot of women and like the one lady that keeps coming into my comment section. It's a male dominated industry for a reason. You got gender equality, equal equality, DEI, all that stuff. Cool. If you come into a job that is labor intensive, that there's a lot of labor, you signed up for it. Just because a man is there don't mean they gonna help you. Like the ladies that always want to go back and forth with me. Yeah, we can do moving. I can move. And I say, no, you can't. I could do final mile. No, you can't. Can you do OTR? Absolutely. Are some of those pallets heavy? Absolutely. Even with a pallet jacking can be a struggle. But you know what you signed up for. Like the guy at the end said, he's not going to help. In a situation like that, you know what you signed up for. They're going to stand around and admire you as far as your physique and, you know, your look before they help you. Absolutely. Even if you didn't look decent, the majority ain't going to step up and help you. It's your job. You're getting paid to do it. It's what you signed up for.
It blows me. Then y'all want to hold small talk. Bitch, I'm working.
They going to shoot their shot. They going to shoot that shot. You think they not finna shoot their shot? These truckers that you run into, they OTR. They away from their home. They away from their family. They in the middle of nowhere. And then your little yellow ass pull up in comparison to the type of chicks that they used to seeing on the road. They gonna shoot their shot. And you dressed not as a truck. You got the fitted shit on. It'd be different if you had on some baggy shit purposely so that you don't show your figure. Maybe some baggy hoodie, baggy sweats, not some fitted and tight. If you're dressed a certain type of way and you look a certain type of way, you are going to attract certain attention. I don't give a fuck where you was at. You could be walking down the street and a motherfucker gonna holler at you. Niggas holler at women. Dudes holler at women. Men approach women. If you give them more reasons to approach you, more men are going to approach you. If you wear fitted clothes that show off your figure, more men are going to approach you.
I don't want to talk about how long I've been driving and do I fucking like it. Y'all so
Bitch, that is your load, ho.
The reason why they're approaching you is they're using you and them being in the same industry as a conversation starter. This is how they're starting a conversation with you. Because ultimately, you know their goal. They want to exchange numbers. What I would suggest for her is to, one, maybe start dressing in baggier clothes to reduce the amount of attention that she gets. And two, just understand that you're in a male-dominated industry from the trucking aspect and when you go to these loading docks. They're used to seeing men all day. They're not used to seeing women. So when a woman comes in, especially dressed a certain type of way, they're going to admire. If you don't give them anything to admire and stare at, then you're going to take more attention. You'll attract less attention. You're going to get attention either way, but if you're doing things to attract attention, you're going to get more attention. And that's my take on it. You know, a lot of people are reacting to it. You know, she's going off on the deep end. You know, I just think people are, you know, going back and forth the wrong way. It's a lot of bitches being thrown back and forth and shit like that. So I just approached it in a more, you know, I guess say logical way. Maybe just to put out there for her to understand, you know, why she's getting the attention she gets. You know, so it is what it is. All right, come on in. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Let's get into this lecture for today. Now, this lecture is going to be more pertaining to local individuals, people who do local work or interested in local work. And I want to talk about, local work and building a local clientele base. So you don't have to focus on contracts and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? More predictable income. I understand everybody wants more loads. I don't hear people talking about customers, focusing on more customers. And that's why a lot of people stay stuck in survival mode, in survival income. You're waking up every day chasing an app, chasing dispatchers, chasing brokers, refreshing load boards all day on not Instagram, God damn it, Amazon Relay, instead of building a system that ultimately works for you. A real business doesn't have to hunt daily. Does not have to hunt daily. I don't care if you're OTR. I don't care if you're local. I don't care if you're doing household. A real business, you want to get to the point where you don't have to hunt every single day. The goal is not necessarily more loads, it's predictable income. This is what I keep trying to instill in people, predictable income. Predictable. Predictable income comes from people calling you consistently. When you hear me talk to the household goods guys, I always talk about how to build a footprint in your market so that you can get repeat customers. And those repeat customers become brand ambassadors for you via word of mouth. This is marketing that you can't pay for. That's way more valuable. You hear me and Moving Company Hustle always talk about 50% or more of our business is repeat and referral customers. The key is building that footprint in the early years when you're building your business so that you're not constantly on the lookout. A lot of people are complaining now about the price of thumbtack leads. They're going to continue to go up. I'm grandfathered. I remember paying $5, $6 for leads. A studio lead now is like $30. A tenured business does not have to rely on lead generation when 50, 60% of your business is repeat and referrals. So you want to build a repeat customer base. So let's talk about how to do it, starting with one truck. Local delivery versus OTR. OTR is commodity work. Local delivery is built more on relationship. Doesn't matter what niche you're in, final mile, curbside, big and bulky, household goods moving. When a person in a local market, let's say like a small business owner that requires a truck, when they reach out to you, they're not necessarily buying transportation, they're buying relief. They're buying reliability, they're buying communication, they're buying convenience. They're reducing their headache. There's a lot of mom and pop, depending on your market, furniture stores. There's a lot of industrial or there may be a lot of industrial places that you may not know about that may need a local delivery solution. I'll give you an example of some of contracts that I've had dealing directly with a business customer. So this is a B2B relationship. They're looking for a solution provider. When a business trusts you with their customers, you become a partner. You're partnering with them. You stop competing for price. And that's when the game ultimately changes for you, because you have more predictability and you've kind of cut out middlemen, 3PLs and brokers, and things of that nature. Now, there's a few different types of customers that you can deal with on a local level. And, you know, each one of these customers are not equal. Not everybody is right for everybody. All right. So you got the emergency person, the emergency customer. And we can look at this from a household goods move. We can also look at this for a big and bulky delivery. It doesn't necessarily have to be with the 3PL, or it could be business to business. I think a company, an app that's kind of stepped in and kind of solved that problem for a lot of large retailers is Curry. Curry has kind of stepped in and solved that problem for a lot of retailers and a lot of industrial companies. This is why you see those short-term contracts for tire companies that may have their own contractors or their own trucks, and the truck goes down and they say, yo, we got a 2-week contract, or we got a 30-day contract, or to help cover overflow during certain sales, right? But that's the emergency caller. They may call because of overflow. They may be called because their driver didn't show up. This can become a weekly customer. It can become a long-term customer if you're able to solve their problem fast and efficiently. Now you got a new customer in your Rolodex that'll call you from time to time. And if a situation does arise where they're looking for a more long-term solution, now you've built that type of relationship. Reliability and speed builds trust faster than perfection. I always talk about the relationship that I had with Rosalind as it pertained to Office Depot. Every single day, once I saw the pattern, they would call me and ask, did I have another truck? And I would always, at the beginning when they were calling me, I would always make something happen. And it wasn't necessarily more so that I could get in their good graces. Yeah, that was a big part of it. Me, I just want the money. I want more money. If the money is on the table, I need that. Listen, I don't leave nothing on the table if it's within my control, especially in my early years where I'm building something. You can leave money on the table later on, but at the beginning, you need it all. And when those opportunities would arise, I would always say yes. And once I realized the pattern, they're calling every day, I would just have somebody on standby and just wait for the call and just be like, go ahead and go. And it just got so to the point where I just sent somebody, I would just schedule an extra person and just send them out there. Because every day it was somebody's not going to show up. There's going to be some independent contractor that's not going to show up. Their truck is going to break down. They're going to call off 43 routes for this particular contract. I have 9 of them. Out of the other 3/4 of the contract, 34 other ICs. It's just highly unlikely that 34 other vehicles are going to show up Monday through Friday, all 34. So I would just be prepared. And then I was able to, one by one, take accounts or take opportunities from other people. The next customer that you have on a local level is the overflow customer. This is where you see Curry has stepped up and solved the issue. I always say when you want to start a business, don't follow the trend. Don't follow the trend. You want to solve a problem. You want to look for a void in the marketplace. And this is where I can give Curry their credit. They saw a void in the marketplace. And this is what differentiates them from the other apps. All right. So you got the overflow customer, businesses that already have trucks, but they get super busy for whatever reason. Maybe they have a sale going on. They don't necessarily want to hire drivers. They're just looking for a temporary solution. They don't want to add payroll. They're just looking for a temporary solution. They don't want to add more insurance headaches. They're just looking for a temporary solution. That's where you come in. You become their pressure release valve. You are the contractor. They bring you in for a short period of time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, to help solve that temporary problem they have. You got the retail partner, furniture stores, appliance stores, flooring stores, who might need a temporary solution as well. Or they may need a long-term solution. They just don't want to invest into the headache. They don't need a truck. They just need a solution. If you can handle the job to perfection and efficiently, there's a possibility that you can get more long-term and permanent work. And I'm not speaking from a 3PL perspective. I'm speaking more from a local mom and pop perspective. Shout out to who was that got that weekend contract in the Discord? Is that Justin? One of my problem people. You know, he's getting it together. You know, he listens, but then he doesn't listen. He's one of them people that has to learn things the hard way. But he has a weekend contract with a furniture store every Saturday. Depending on your market, there are companies out there that need local solutions. It might not be daily. It may be like in his case, something that's on a Saturday. There's companies that may need something a few days a week, and they may not be furniture or appliance or flooring stores or fitness equipment stores. There's industrial companies that have opportunities for local work for people that have a truck as well. A good example is I had a contract with a local company that wasn't a furniture or appliance or a flooring. It was a powder coating company, and what they specialized in was powder coating. Their main thing that they powder coated was wrought iron patio furniture. And, you know, they reached out to me. I didn't find this contract. This is the beauty of having just a company that has a footprint in the marketplace. So when companies like local small companies go out and they have a problem and they're looking for a solution, they can find you know, if your company is marketed and you have a footprint, you're on Google, you're SEO properly, you have a website, reviews, things of that nature, you're accessible. People can find you, companies can find you easier. So they reached out to me, and they had a problem where, you know, they powder coated wrought iron patio furniture, and they figured out that if they had people picking the stuff up and bringing it to them and dropping them off, they could increase their revenue, right? They asked me for a price. I gave it to them. We negotiated, and we came up with $100 a stop, both ways. So we do a day where we pick up. I send a truck a day to drop off. So we ran this contract 2 times a week, a pickup day, drop off day. And then peak season, I would send 2 trucks, right? Since most of their business was patio furniture, wrought iron patio furniture, the customers had no problem paying $100 each way. Why? Who buys wrought iron patio furniture? Affluent people. Poor people, middle class people don't spend that much money on patio furniture. You go to Walmart, you go to Menards, you get the regular shit. Wrought iron patio furniture can last a lifetime. It's very expensive. But over the period of years, you know, the elements, snow, rain, things of that nature, it deteriorates it, and you can rejuvenate it by just getting it powder coated. So here's a contract that I'm running 2 times a week, averaging about 8 to 9 stops or more a day, depending on the season. And doing, obviously, going into this season now is when a lot of pickups will come. So around this time right now, we be doing a lot of pickups. Why? In preparation for the spring. Right? So you're doing, let's say, 8 to 10 stops per truck at $100 a stop, 2 days a week. Do the math. 100% of the revenue is going to us. They don't want a piece. They just want a solution. And as soon as we came in, their revenue increased because they can provide a solution. Here, rich customer in Barrington, rich customer in Lake Forest. These trucks weren't picking shit up in the city. Rich people have wrought iron patio furniture. This is why I can get $100 a stop each way for the same customer. Same customer we pick up, we got to drop it off a few weeks later. They don't mind spending $200 because they're rich anyway. We're going to Chicago Bears home, Chicago Bulls home, Lake Forest, Barrington. All these suburbs where we're going to were affluent customers. We're getting 100% of the revenue. If they wouldn't have called me and I was out searching for a customer, I would have never looked in that direction. I didn't know what powder coating was until they reached out to me. The story that I told where one of my workers fell through the stairs when they were carrying the radiators down, it was for this customer. They were redoing the house, and the house had an old heating system. It had an old radiator system. So while the contractors were redoing the house, they wanted to get the radiators powder coated. That was for this particular customer. We were picking up the radiators from this home in the suburbs, and they were going to take them and get them powder coated. But the house was under construction. The stairs were faulty. So when they were coming down, these big, huge, heavy radiators from the second floor, one of the guys was Aaron. He's got to be like 6'3", 240 pounds. So he's a big, strong, solid guy. And with the weight of the radiators and the other guy, Aaron went through the stair. But anyway, this is the beauty of having direct customers for your local business. You get 100% of the revenue. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a furniture store or appliance store or flooring store. It could be something like a powder coating place. Even if a powder and coating place or something similar doesn't have a solution, this is where you do your research. You inquire like you're a customer. Hey, I'm interested in getting some rims powder coated, let's say, or I'm interested in I have wrought iron patio furniture, and I'm interested in getting it powder coated, and ask for a quote or something like that. And then see, okay, well, do you have a pickup solution? If they say no, then boom. Maybe hang up and then call back at another time and act as a different person. And then that's when you pitch to them. Hey, I own a local logistics or trucking company where we focus on local delivery. And I had, you can your sales pitch, you can figure it out. I called a while ago and inquired about, getting some patio furniture powder coated, and you said you didn't have a pickup and delivery solution. I was wondering if I could come in for a meeting and present you with a proposal. I have a solution that could probably increase your revenue. Did you have some time this week or next week where I could come in and possibly meet? I may be able to I may have a solution that could help you bring in more money in, and it'll help my business as well. And then you sell them on the idea of pickup and delivery solution. How many more customers do you think would come to you if they didn't have to rent a U-Haul or rent a U-Haul van or borrow a family member's pickup truck or van to haul their patio furniture in? to get it powder coated and then do the same thing to pick it back up when it's done? What if I could provide you and your customers with a solution? Do you think that would increase your revenue? Of course, because when a person calls, they would much rather have somebody pick it up so they don't have to go through the hassle. If a person's going to spend that type of money to powder coat, they're not going to mind spending a couple $100s for a pickup and delivery solution. So there's opportunity out there. You just have to know how to go about it. Like to me, and I was telling this in the Discord, last night, to me, this shit is easy. I don't understand why it's so hard for people. And then I have to take myself out of the equation. Mark, you've been doing it for a while. You also have a degree in business, but still, like, the opportunities exist. You have to go out there and find it. God has blessed me, like with that contract with the powder coat, and they came to me. But I had a footprint in the marketplace. I built a footprint in the marketplace so that people could find me. And I can focus on the business. Contractors, painters, remodelers, restoration companies. There's always material that needs to be picked up. Last year, when I was live and I was doing those roadie videos, and I would be sitting in Home Depot, you know how many people came up and knocked on my truck? Now, granted, the one guy that y'all saw come up and knock on the truck, he was a scammer. A lot of scammers, they frequent Home Depot, right, in the parking lot. So you got the unlicensed painters and, contractors. You got the scammers, especially in this market, right? Because they got the credit cards where they catch you coming in like, what you finna buy? All right, what you finna buy? You finna spend $1,000 on material? All right, just, I'll use my card, and whatever it come up to, just give me half in cash. So if you spend $1,000, just give me $500. Scammer came up to me. Plenty of people was coming up to me, but I remember this scammer came up to me because I think I was live that time, if I'm not mistaken. And he was like, man, I got a lot of work, and I need, the thing is, I don't got nobody to pick and move this shit. He said, man, like, give me your number, and I got work for you every day. I didn't want to work with him because, I know what he was on. He out there posted up, catching people so that he can, swipe for them, and they give him cash, and this is how he, run it up. But there was other people out there. Man, Joe, man, can you help me? Can you do this? How much you gonna charge me to take this door over there? Man, I need a toilet, man. How much you gonna take me? And a few times I did, while I was waiting on them orders to come through, I did do a few jobs. For the most time, I turned them down because I just didn't want to be bothered. That's not why I was out there. But they see me sitting in this truck. People was coming up, knocking on the door. Sitting at Home Depot in a truck, not marketing myself, not going up to nobody. Hey, you need a truck. They see a truck. They see it running because it's cold, the smoke coming out the tailpipe. Hey, bro. Hey, man, how much you'll charge me? Man, I got some plywood or some drywall. How much you gonna charge me to run it over to 47th? You on the news, you got to do what you got to do. Just positioning yourself in the right place, opportunity will come knocking. There's always a need for pickups. Go to your Home Depot. Just pull up with your truck and sit there. Literally, that's it. Go to the most poppin'est Home Depot or Lowe's and just sit there and watch. Property managers. Now, I've talked about this before because, Mark has property manager contracts. Apartments, offices, real estates. These are long-term relationships. I didn't reach out. All right. So At Properties is probably one of the largest property management, well, not property management, real estate companies. Let's do real estate companies first, and then I'll do property management. Real estate companies in Chicago. Now, they're not going to deal with you directly because they have real estate agents. The real estate agents have different people they work with. Get in with a real estate agent with one of the larger real estate companies. Keller Williams, Chicago at Properties. The bigger ones, the ones that have a lot of turnover in selling, they stage. And the ones that stage, they have storage facilities scattered throughout. So there's some real estate agents that I've worked with, and I started with one. And then that one referred us to another, and then another. So now within that property, there's like 4 or 5 different agents, real estate brokers that call my company. Look, we need you to meet us at the Cube Smart on Western, and we need to pick some stuff up, load it up in one of your trucks, and we need to take and stage a apartment over here or a condo down there for sale. I'd schedule one of my trucks. They go to the storage facility. The ladies are in there. The real estate agents are in there. They're picking certain things. Okay, we got this unit on the first floor. It might be a 10 by 20, 10 by 25. They got another unit on the second floor, another unit. They got 3, 4 big ass storage lockers just full of furniture for staging because they're staging multiple places simultaneously. So once they pick everything up and they load it in the truck, the movers take it to the place and they just put it in the room of choice. They don't have to assemble anything. They don't have to stage it. That's what the real estate agents do that. They just want the shit picked up and dropped off. They're staging it for sale. And then once it sells, we get paid on the back end to come pick it up and either take it back to storage or take it to another place for staging. Now, this is not something that's every day, but if you have enough real estate agents and you target, now I'm telling you, I didn't do this. One real estate agent came to me, and the reason why is because she hired my company to move her. And then she said, hey, you know, I do a lot of staging. And then that's when that relationship happened from the work end. And then it just, you know, like I say, word of mouth, another real estate agent. Then she referred us to another real estate agent, then another real estate, all within that properties. Right? So this is another solution. This is what you call, and especially if you're in a big city with a lot of places going up for sale and you're dealing with a large real estate agency and you're dealing with some of their top brokers. The top brokers are turning. Like we were doing stuff for this one lady where we had dropped some shit off for staging, and 30 days later, she was calling us to pay property sold. She turning shit over like that. So real estate agents, property managers, same situation. This can be another long-term client. Now, I don't deal with evictions. I always tell people I don't fuck with evictions. It took me 1 or 2 times to realize fuck evictions. If you want to deal with evictions, go ahead. But this is more for household goods moving. You're going to deal with evictions. You're going to get those evictions. You're going to get dump runs if you are in the junk removal business. You'll get furniture removal. You'll get emergency jobs. Things of that nature. And this can be a reoccurring customer. I prefer to deal more with real estate companies because it's staging, it's cleaner. Excuse me. Dealing with property managers, it's always, if a property manager is calling you, it's either for an eviction or it's just for something that me personally, I'd rather just not deal with. It's just some type of emergency problem that I just never, ever just wanted to deal with. And I learned just to stay away. Real estate agents, real estate brokers, easy money because it's just picking shit up from storage, taking it to a house or a condo for staging to sell, and then you get paid on the back end. So you get paid twice for the same shit. A big mistake that a lot of local guys make when they get these opportunities, one-off opportunities, and why they don't flourish into a long-term relationship is one or two things. Either they don't do a good job or they don't follow up after delivery. They think the job ends after the job. No. That's kind of when it starts. You want to follow up. If a real estate broker calls you, or let's say a contractor calls you, you want to follow up. That's where you build a relationship so that you can get repeat revenue. You want to get repeat revenue. You want to build your Rolodex of customers. You're building a system. This is what's going to separate you from the individual who's always chasing shit. You don't want to chase shit. You want to get to the point where you're to the point where you're just like so overwhelmed, you just turning shit away. And you've heard me talk about when I got to that point. It's just to the point where I just overwhelmed. I just can't take anymore. I get asked a question from time to time, why did you stop scaling? Why was that amount of trucks the number? Because I became too overwhelmed. The only way for me to continue to grow, I would have had to find somebody that could give me at least 75% of me. I could never find that person. I couldn't even get it from my brother. 5 o'clock, my brother, 4:58, I hear his keys jingling. He out the door at 5. So I knew when I hit my wits end and I could take more work, but I started turning shit down. You want to get to the point where you can turn shit away. When you get these opportunities with these customers that can turn into repeat business, you want to communicate effectively. You want to let them know that you're on the way. You want to let them know when you've arrived. You want to let them know when the job is completed, especially when they're not on site. The realtors, when you're staging, obviously they're on site because they're going through the storage facilities, picking things up. They're going to be on site at the drop off because they're telling you, all right, this goes to that bedroom, this goes to the living room, this goes there. For something like what I did with the powder coating, now this is, some years ago, but in today's time, tracking solutions. They should be able to track your trucks. All right. It's more professional. Because if, for instance, let's say you do what I'm doing with the powder coating and the customer calls the powder coating company, you don't want them to continuously call you to check ETAs. They should have like a login where they can't adjust anything, but they can just track. Now, for the most part, with the powder coating contract, never had to deal with that. Why? Because the furniture, patio furniture is outside. Never had to talk to the customer, never had to ring the doorbell. As long as there were no dogs out there, they knew they were getting a pickup. They knew they were getting a drop off and never had to make contact with the customer. Truck would just pull up, they'd go into the yard and they just load the shit and unload it on the back end. But contracts where, let's say, where you're dealing with a contractor, and let's say they go on Home Depot and they're a Home Depot pro, and they order a bunch of materials online, they don't have to meet you at the store. That order is there. It's ready for pickup. Depending on what it is, Home Depot is going to load it for you with a forklift, and you're going to take it to the property and drop it off. That contractor may not be there, but you should have some type of system. Even if you're contacting them directly via text message, letting them know that you're on the way, letting them know that you arrive, letting them know that the job is completed. Take pictures. A lot of the contractor work, it's going to be curbside. You want to CYA. cover your behind, cover your A. So make sure you take a delivery photo, attach it. Let the customer know if you ever need anything again to reach out to you. You're trying to build a relationship so you can get something more consistent. It's simple. Follow up. If you don't hear from a customer that you know can be a repeat customer, follow up. Just don't not communicate. There's nothing wrong with following up as long as it doesn't become too overbearing, right? To the point where they block you. Don't be thirsty, but always follow up. Obviously, you're going to save their contact information in a spreadsheet. Make sure you have their name, their company, the type of industry, the type of job, potential frequency, and the last time, this company hired you. You're building a CRM. You want to build a pipeline. You don't want to, you want to build a pipeline. So you kind of want to keep a CRM, Priority treatment. You want to prioritize certain people. I talked about this before. When that properties would call, they get priority. They're the largest real estate agency in the Chicagoland area. They actually were my realtor, or is my realtor, I should say. I bought this place. They were my realtor for this place. They're the largest. There's plenty of agents and brokers. And the word of mouth will continue to spread. So you do not want to, for something like that, piss them off. You want to accommodate them. There's probably hundreds of brokers within that realty. Keller Williams. If you're doing a good job, the word is spread. Once you do a bad job for one broker, they're going to trash you and you'll never get a call from anybody. If you got 10 brokers or 10 real estate agents under one firm calling you to stage property, you're winning. This is somebody you want to prioritize. You don't want to tell them you're booked. You want to move somebody else around and accommodate them. Now, here's something that a lot of people I just know you ain't going to be prepared for. But this is a business. Not every customer you can't, every customer when you're building a business, you can't expect, or you can't, some customers you have to give grace to. Now, what do I mean by that? Billing. Do you think I charge at property? Do you think those brokers paid me that same day? No. Do you think I hawk them? Absolutely not. I would send them an invoice. They'd pay me when she got a chance. It wouldn't be net 15 or net 30. Some days it's 2-3 days later, 4 days later, 5 days later, 7 days later. The broker for at properties that hires my company, she's the big dog. I would rarely, she would rarely come out on jobs. She has smaller agents working under her. She's selling hella properties. She's busy. Your business, you can't, if you're a vendor, you can't expect and be thirsty for everybody to pay you quick pay, especially when you're dealing with another business to business relationship. They're not a consumer. Business to business relationship, they like, bro, I'll pay you. Send an invoice. If you ain't got cash flow, you can't deal with these types of customers. You just another vendor. When they sit down, whatever day it is, and start paying accounts payable, they'll pay you. You can't be on that hood. Hey, y'all gonna send me the money? Well, I mean, we did. Nah, bro. Fuck out of here. You just hear them coins drop when they get to you. If they steady sending you business, they're gonna pay you. Just keep your bookkeeping, and you know you got accounts receivable for said real estate company, said real estate agency, said broker, said contractor. It's called accounts receivable on your end. When you put the invoice out, you'll see the notifications. If you have proper systems in place, the system will send them reminders so many days based on how you have your settings set. Every 7 days, every 15 days, every 30 days. It'll send them a reminder when you send the invoice. They'll get the email. You want direct customers, but the question is a lot of people that want direct customers and want that business to business relationship, you want to be paid like an independent contractor. When you're dealing with business to business, you're not going to get paid with all these contracts the same day or the next day. You may have to wait. So if waiting is an issue for you because you're not liquid, then you shouldn't be looking for direct contracts. And that's the truth that a lot of your favorite people won't tell you. And I know why they won't tell you is because they've never had a direct contract. Because if they did, they would tell you this. Somebody just asked, have I ever got paid net 40? I've had contracts when I was doing cross-docking where I didn't get paid for a year. You got net 30, net 15, net 45, net 60, and then you have something that's called, you get paid when we get paid. And when I did cross-docking, when I did Wayfair and all these contracts that came under this one 3PL that only hired companies that had their own warehouse, that was a contract that I did not get paid until they got paid. That was the contract I talked about when I was done with it. The day we exited that contract, that year in March, the settlement still continued for 8 months, week by week. This was a weekly payout. I got a settlement for 8 months. So here's a contract we got rid of in March, and for 8 months, every single week, I was still getting a settlement. Why? Because there was shit that we did 7, 8, 9, 10 months ago, a year ago, or longer, that's just now getting paid out. I could do $8,000 worth of deliveries, let's say, in the previous payment cycle, and then my settlement for this payment cycle for payroll, meaning my payroll for that contract is high, but the payment that I'm getting, this payment from that company, might only be $1,000. So that means I'm fronting the bill for all the expenses. The settlement from the company is not equaling to the work we did this previous payment cycle. When they dumped all those Home Depot deliveries on me, when Veterans Distribution said, we don't want to deal with y'all no more on reverse logistics. We'll do the Home Depot deliveries, but we're not picking shit up no more. It's taking up too much space in the warehouse. I came into the office, I had 180, 200 pickups for Home Depot. All those pickups increased my operation cost for that contract for that time period, which labor was a big part of it. So that next pay period for all those pickups, my payroll was extremely high. My settlement wasn't nowhere near what it cost me to do all those pickups. I had to front that money. The company had to front that money because, nigga, you got your own warehouse. We don't look at you like an independent contractor. You figure something out. For you to hire your own warehouse, we know that you're not stupid, you smart, and you got some money. So you're not desperate. So you gonna wait. When we get paid, you'll get paid. So if the workload goes from here to here, I'm paying the cost, fuel, labor, but that next payment settlement, these drivers and the driver and helper that's on these trucks that's doing this contract, they're making a way more money, but I'm not recouping that money. I might not recoup that money for 6 months, 7 months, and it's not all calling at one time. If you got mixed contracts, I got Wayfair on this truck, I got Human Touch, we got Websterant, different Nordic Track, Atomic Games, a multitude of online furniture stores. So they might have 10 stops, but 3 of those stops may be Wayfair, 2 of them may be Websterant, 1 of them may be this Recundant Bike. I can't forget the name of that company, Atomic Games. Those 3 Wayfair stops, maybe 1 of those stops, they received the money for 3 months later. Still, the other 2 stops is still accounts receivable. So even those 3 stops that were on that same truck that same day didn't pay out at the same time. This is why the settlements fluctuate. I could have did $10,000 worth of work the past 2 weeks, but this settlement, $700. Next week's settlement might be $3,500. The week after that, maybe $5,000. The week after that, it may be $1,100. That's why you got to have capital. Certain things not everybody can do. And this is why when I listen to people, I just shake my head. This is how I know people, y'all, you ain't never done it. You just telling somebody, yo, go out and get contracts. But you're not telling them, okay, certain contracts, for the most part, you're not going to get paid like an independent contractor that's dealing with a broker that's factoring and can do quick pay. Well, Mark, why don't you factor, bro? Because we're a business. I'm not finna give a motherfucker 3% for some local work. It's just like factoring for Final Mile. I'm running Final Mile. I'm running local work. I'm not paying motherfucker 3%, 4%, 2.5%, 3% on volume. We got money. We're a business. So if you do plan on having business to business contracts, for the most part, you're going to be invoicing. You're not going to be getting paid the same day and the next day. When you can do that, that'll also put you in a better position than the competition. When they reach out to you for that business to business relationship, you may not be the first person. They might have tried 2 or 3 other people before you, and they're looking for the best solution. So now here you come, trucks are clean and branded, or maybe just clean and all white. Drivers are clean and uniformed and don't look disheveled. And you're not thirsty. This shows the business that you are a business. You're not someone that once you do a job for them, you're going to be hawking them for this funky ass $1,100. Mark, why you call it funky? Because when you're dealing with business to business, it is funky. You get out of the mind of an independent contractor. That shit is funky. You're dealing with a person, let's say for the real estate person, you just went and staged a $800,000 fucking condo. 1 bedroom, $800,000. So $1,100 we owe you. That shit funky, man. We'll pay you when we get to it. Man, you just moved and staged a 1-bedroom. I'm selling this in the Trump Plaza. Now I'm using that because I have to pick a building where you're going to pay that much money, right? Or let's say the John Hancock here in Chicago. Bro, I'm trying to sell this fucking unit. I'll pay you a little money, bro. I ain't tripping. Like, look at my portfolio. I'm over 20 million sold. We ain't tripping on that. We get to you, bro. I got 10, 15, 20 properties listed, man. Listen, I do my accounting every second Wednesday. I pay all my bills every second Wednesday. I don't pay bills every day, bro. Listen, bro, if you need this 1,100, check it out. I'm going to give you this little funky ass 1,100. Let me just, how you want it, bro? How you want it? Can I just, what you ain't got no, can you invoice me? You ain't got no invoice. So you can't email me invoice. I could just hit pay and Zelle. Cash App. What's that? Cash App? What is that? What is Cash App? I never heard of that. So I just can't pay by credit over the phone? Can you invoice me and then I could just hit pay and insert I don't feel comfortable giving my card number over the phone. You don't have a system where you can just invoice it, email it, and I open up the email and it says pay and I can click pay and I can insert my credit card on this side. You don't have that? All right, look, I'm just going to Zelle you. I'm just going to Zelle you right now. All right, you get it? All right, bye. You'll never hear from him again. You just let a bunch of money, opportunity go out the window for some funky ass little money. It's funky to them because you don't have working capital or you're trying to step in an arena that you're not ready for. But everybody wants it because your favorite people are saying direct contracts. I've never heard nobody talk about the net 15, net 30, net 45, or we'll pay you when we get paid. You know why? They're just telling you about this shit. They've never done it. Person that's done it is going to give it to you in full detail like I am. A person or a company that they get to, and they might have been trying different companies that can provide them with a efficient solution, timely solution. Truck is clean, presentable. Employees are clean, presentable, and not disheveled. And a convenient payment solution because it's business to business. So it's invoicing. This is the business to business relationship most companies are looking for. This is what sets you aside from your competition. And this is why a lot of people can't and do not get direct contracts and don't have business to business partnerships. They don't get predictable revenue because they can't build a customer base because their business is not structured correctly. They're trying to jump the gun too prematurely. The goal for local business to business is not necessarily high paying loads. It's boring money. Boring. Boring money pays bills. Boring money scales fleets. Boring money builds businesses. I talked yesterday. Real success is boring. The most successful relationships are boring. The lit relationships, it's always some issue. Look at Cardi and Buddy ass. It's lit. It's fucked up. The most successful relationships that I see are boring. The most successful businesses that I see are boring. You don't see the owner. You don't see them branding themselves CEO. You don't see them twerking on their box truck. You don't even know them. You think this is a Caucasian-owned company the whole time. This is an African black-owned company. It's not even marketed to you a certain way. It's marketed in the opposite of what the owner is. It's boring. That exciting money that people chase doesn't last long. That's a hustler mentality. A boring money, boring success is a person who is disciplined and their day is repetitive. Boring. Let's
I'm not helping.
let's see here. Let's let's go ahead and open up the lines for a short period of time. Not a long time, but a short time. Let's get the number on the screen. Come on in, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Imagine they go out of business 3 months later. Listen, it happens. I got a company that owes me $11,000 for $8,000. They actually paid me $3,000. I got a company right now that still owes me $8,000. They've been owing it to me since 2016, 2017. I'll never get it. Why? They did exactly what you did. They did a money grab. They knew they were going out of business. I'm not the only person they owe. They owe everybody across the country. It was a Christmas tree contract, which was another business-to-business contract. And guess what? They had a good rapport. I have been dealing with them since 2013. And guess what? They went out of business. It was a bad year. A lot of the trees got, they couldn't get access to a lot of the trees from the tree farm in Michigan because that year Michigan had a bad snowstorm. And the tree farm just could not get to all the trees because they were buried in snow. So they had to remove a lot of the snow. And because of the snowstorm, not every market could get their trees. Chicago, I'm the contractor for Chicago. I got 800 and something trees that my company had to deliver. We were close. There was a lot of markets that didn't get their trees. But because of the extreme loss, because this company was a national company, I think I've talked about this once or twice before. Even though I did, we got our trees and I did the deliveries, my company did deliveries. I had to run 3 trucks a day to deliver all those goddamn trees, right? Because I'm up against a time constraint. Why? These are live trees, so they have to go in water. I can't just leave them in my warehouse and just send 1 truck a day. No, we got to get these trees out. The moment the semi truck pulled up and they were unloaded into my warehouse, I got 5 days to deliver all those fucking trees. Because they have to get a fresh cut, 1/2 inch off the bottom, and go in water. They're live. Never got paid. They sent me $3,000 a year later. They still owe me $8,000. I'll never get it. The company is still active. They had another LLC or another corporation, because they had 3 companies. The tree company is gone. They still have the lighting, the Christmas lighting, where they go and they light, like rich people, they put all these fucking lights on their house and shit. So they have a business, lighting decor or some shit, where they go and they professionally hang lights on your house. That business is a separate LLC, separate corporation. The have a tree delivered to your home business. Mark, why you didn't sue him? It's a great question. I know somebody's thinking that in their head. I did think about suing him. I went to my lawyer. And this is what my lawyer said. This is before they sent the 3. He said, they owe you 11. Retainer is 5. You want to spend 5 chasing 11? And you still might not get it. That's exactly what he said to me. Retainer is 5. He said, you want to spend 5 to chase 11? See, you got to have real ones. You got to make sure everybody from your accountant to your insurance broker to your lawyer is real ones. Because a sucker would have just said, all right, let's do it. They wouldn't have said, Mark, you want to spend 5 chasing 11? Basically saying, Mark, man, just write that shit off, man. It's little shit. A sucker lawyer, a fly-by-night lawyer would have took the 5 knowing that same shit. They ain't paying you, they ain't got it. That's short paper. It ain't even enough to go to dig in to see if they got assets that we can start leaning on. That's short paper. He said, Mark, the return of 5, you want to spend 5 chasing 11? Made me feel like a goddamn fool. I tell you, I'm like, damn, since you said it like that, exactly what he said. I'm like, damn. Get out of here with that little shit. So nah, I had to eat that one. That shit is the cost of doing business, big dog. You ain't a boss till you take a loss. You dig? And that ain't the only loss. You know, motherfucker, you gonna lose. You step up in a realm where you dealing business to business, shit, companies go out of business every day. You write it off and you keep moving. That's all. Took a loss. It was a big loss. And what was fucked up about that loss, that was the first year that they implemented the tip system within the structure. So not only did they not pay, they didn't even pay the tips. So obviously the cost of delivering all that shit, plus the payroll and shit, my company had to eat that. Hello?
Hello?
What's up?
Yeah, what's going on? I'm trying to go and tell.
What up, though?
Can't call it.
How can I help you?
Yeah, I had a question. Well, really, I wanted your opinion.
Okay.
Yesterday, I had went to a shipper and they tore a hole in the top of my roof. They wanted to hit me with the out of pocket, but you know, me being a business, I wanted the insurance to take care of everything.
Who put
and they just stayed tight.
shipper put the hole in your roof?
Yeah, the shipper put the hole in my roof.
Wow, with like the forklift or some shit?
No, they were moving furniture, putting furniture on there, and they had a couch, and just being careless, just tore it up. It's a fiberglass top roof.
So file a claim against their insurance.
That's what I was trying to do, but you know, they would never come up with the insurance information, and now he's like, they're gonna call you in a couple of days.
You have your
and give you
insurance take care of it. It's just like if you get into a car accident, your insurance goes after the other insurance to recoup. So call your broker, explain it to your broker, Because the shit got to get fixed, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got an estimate today. It's like $4,000.
Okay.
I mean,
So talk to your broker and see if they can go after the other insurance. I don't know. I guess that wouldn't be an commercial. That wouldn't. I don't know if that would fall on an auto claim. You may have to get that fixed out of pocket. But what I would do is I'll call your insurance agent, explain to them the difference so they can give you your options, and then you can determine if you need to pay it out of pocket or if it'll just fall under your commercial auto, and if they'll go after the other insurance to recoup, because that will fall under their general liability. So get a consultation from your broker on what to do.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna call Live Rock in a minute because that's what I go with.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. So yeah. Sometimes you're not gonna get paid, big dog. Sometimes you're not gonna get paid, and if you're not prepared to not get paid, then you ain't prepared to be in business. Because if you really out there moving and shaking and checking the bag, that means eventually you're gonna run into a situation where somebody ain't gonna pay you for whatever reason. They go out of business, they ain't got it. Like what happened to me with Dynamics. Whatever. It happens, bro. Like, and sometimes it ain't shit you can do about it. Sometimes it's not worth suing. Like my lawyer told me, you're gonna spend 5 chasing 10, 5 chasing 11. This is like, and still not get it because they may not have it. Like, what are we doing here? So, yeah. So, and we will watch her so they can look. But if a woman needs help, a real man. All right, phone number is up. I'm gonna put the timer up, man. 312-772-5483. Timer is up. That's the industry fraud. You gotta crack the whip. Get one of them. The phone number's up. Imagine they go out of business. That one already. Said the money will come eventually. Yeah. In most cases it will, but we know a lot of people. A lot of people want these local opportunities, business to business, especially local business to business at scale. But, there's shit that comes along with that on the pay side that I just don't think a lot of people are aware of. Phone number's up. Timer's up. 312-772-5483. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. See, Beat said something about a government contract. I ain't really did a full lecture on the government contract thing, but I've touched on it from time to time. Anybody that think they're gonna get a government contract, one truck is most you're gonna be is a sub. You'll never be a prime. Hello?
Yo, is this Mark?
This is.
Hey, this is James with Dixon Interstate Transport, man. How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Not much. Hey, man, I just want to let you know that Um, out of all the episodes, I think this is probably one of your top two episodes, most informative and down to earth and truth to power. I've been watching you since you started. Just been in the cut, never, really commented much or made too many comments or made any phone calls. But um, this episode and the one you did about the business plan and all that, I think those are my top two favorites. You know, uh, coming into this, I started back when everybody else did, back in 2001, and we still hanging around here, making it do what it do. But this is definitely by far one of the most informative. I started out, like everybody else, listening to several different people. And then when I got a hold of you, of course, I'm like everybody else. I didn't agree with the things you were saying because it wasn't what we were accustomed to hearing from all the other content creators. And so um, over time, I grew to understand the things that you were saying. And a lot of the content that you put out really does help people. They just don't understand. They just have to take little bit by little bit to get where they need to be. Um, for myself, I'm a one truck operator. I definitely I just got my second truck last week. My first truck went down for maintenance, and over the last month I spent about maybe $10,000 in renting. So I decided to go ahead and buy me a second truck to stop that bleeding from happening. But
You
to
spent
date,
10 grand on
I've
renting
got
in
like
1 month?
about 10 grand is the cost. Yeah.
What are you, a semi guy?
With no box truck.
You spent
So
10
about a
grand in 1 month
$1,000.
renting a truck?
Yeah, yeah. With that, and then see, I paid my insurance up front and all at one time, and so I had an additional cost to pay to add the rental truck. They wanted that one time all up front uh, rental payment for that month. See what I'm saying? So that added another like 4 to 6 grand to what I had to pay for rental, the normal rental rate. See what I'm saying? So I'm just saying from totality of the cost.
Mm,
I
okay.
pay my insurance annually at one time to save like 4 or 5 grand
hmm
off of the premium.
Okay.
But just what you're saying is true, man. It's good. Like I said, I've got over the course of the last 2 years myself personally, I've acquired two direct shippers, and that money is definitely a hell of a lot different from what you get from a broker and everybody else that steps on it before you get it. Um, and then so like you're saying, like right now currently I've got like $24,000 in invoices that's pending from the direct shippers, and
hmm
nobody's going to touch that money. It's not being factored. That's just straight money that's coming to me. And I've gotten to a point now, with those relationships that you talk about,
hmm
they don't even question what I invoice them for. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And so I'm averaging about 5 grand a week, working with the direct shippers, and I'm at home. I could be at home every day if I wanted to, but I
hmm
choose to stay like in a hotel, 3 nights a week because I'm not gonna sleep in a box truck. You know what I'm saying? But I am kind of local slash regional. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
But that definitely, once you get those direct relationships, it definitely hits different. That money is a whole lot different. You can depend on that. Um, like I'm pretty much today is Thursday, and I'm pretty much done getting ready to head back home for the week if I want to. You know what I'm saying? And I already got an outline of what we're expecting to do for next week. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And so I'll say that, and then like the relationships, like you talked about. And then I go back to maybe a conversation you guys had with Midwest about a year or so ago, when he was talking about he didn't want to take that $550 uh, deal with the broker to deliver those caskets locally. You know
hmm
what I'm saying? That's guaranteed $550 a week. I mean, $555 a day that you can guarantee to work on, right?
hmm
And then you take that, and then he was talking about, oh, I ain't fixing to do no 30-mile run for $230. You take the 550 and add the 250 with that. That's $800 for a day. You know what I'm saying? And you local and you back at home in your bed every day.
So you saw
know?
that.
Yeah,
I tried to
yeah.
explain
It's,
it, but
it's,
I don't,
it's people just don't read. They don't get the concept of it, And so that's how I got my foot in the door with the direct shipper. I was working. I had a broker that was calling me to do the same loads 3 to 4 times a week. And so I seen another box truck show up, and then the broker was trying to get me to do 2 loads a day or an extra load on
Mhm.
top of that load, right?
Mhm.
And so I was like, man, I can't, I couldn't get them all done. So one day I went in and I asked who the operations manager were, and I talked to them,
Mhm.
and they were like, yeah, I'd rather have somebody that I can communicate with directly. I'm not waiting on a broker. I'd rather not have a different truck show up here every day or twice a day. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so he was asking me, hey, can you give me a quote on, what you'll do these loads for? So I was like, the broker was paying me pretty good already. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I was like, I know he's got to be getting a cut out of it. And so I stepped up like $200 on top of what I was getting the loads for. And he was like, oh, that's great. That's definitely, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I know the broker had to been getting at least 40% on top of what I was getting. And I'm still saving them money.
Mhm.
The communication and the reliability and everything else, and this has been over a year, almost, I started working with the broker on these loads in January of last year.
Mhm.
And through January through April, I think I looked it up the other day, it was like through April 17th was when I started, when we sent in the vendor packet and everything else to get signed up, the W-9 and the voided check and all that, so that they can have access to send me, payments directly.
Mhm.
So I'm coming up on a year with that with that direct shipper. And I got another one that I've been working with for over 2 years. They're mostly seasonal. So like you're saying, the truck and the demand for your business will tell you when to scale. So I'm at a point now that I need to, kind of hire another driver to help, with the contracts. Because even with the direct shippers, and I'm going to delivering, freight to constant customers that they have on a routine basis. Their customers are even getting me to do side work and extra things that they need doing when I'm available, when I'm not doing it for those direct customers.
Mhm.
And so that kind of drives your demand, you know what I'm saying, and lets you
Mhm.
know that when you can scale, or when you need to get your next truck, or when you need to get, employees and things of that nature. And so I tell you another, I mean, it's like you're saying, it's gotten boring because I don't have to do all that hunting. I don't know where, I don't have to be on the load board scrolling and refreshing. I go to the load board sitting around and I ain't doing nothing just to make, put another few ends in,
Mhm.
um, on top of what I already got done for the day. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it does, like you said, that's true. I find myself getting bored a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have to that search, that constant hunting,
Mhm.
for these, well, if they want to say cheap loads, right? But like I said, the money that I get for doing, I get paid for going and returning back to the warehouse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I'm empty, and so that money hits a little different. Like I said, building the relationships. When those people, and you know who the kind we're talking about, right?
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
they give you codes and stuff like that to the warehouses or to their businesses for you to come in and drop stuff or pick up and load stuff when they ain't there,
Mhm.
you got yourself something then. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, but yeah, man, I sit and I listen. I've been wanting to call in sometimes, but a lot of times I just sit back and I just chill and I listen, and I continue to do so. People got to really take what you're saying and not be trying to put their own interests ahead of what you're doing. I've been at this thing for, I started out, I left my job, I'm retired military.
Mhm.
I left my job that a government job, making 100 and something $1,000, and started this as well,
Mhm.
like a lot of other people did. But I had, like you said, you got to have that something else that's going to sustain you, to be able to survive out here. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been in this business for about what, April will be my 5th year, right?
Mhm.
And so it took me 3 years before I even considered paying myself. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
And even now, I'll go some weeks without, if something else is due or a bill is due or something like that. I'll skip my, you know what I'm saying? I'll skip paying myself. And I only pay myself like $800, and that's before I have taxes taken out and my 401k and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, money that just goes into the house.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, people got to understand. People got to listen to you. All the things you're saying is factual. Not having things in your personal name. Having stuff all in the business. Being set up the correct way. I'll tell you one or two things I'll agree with too. I did have a incident where I struck a pedestrian in a crosswalk and had to go through a lawsuit with that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out good on my end and everything. And it was minor damage. I mean, I like barely tapped the lady and she fell over, right? So all of her injuries were superficial
Mm-hmm.
internally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was no broken bones or anything like she could like really, life altering or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest thing that saved me was that I was set up correctly as far as the S corp. So the business, took the hit on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was a W-2 employee of the business, so she couldn't come after me personally outside of that because the work that I was doing was I was working for the business. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't represented as the business. I'm an employee of my business.
Exactly.
And so, if people ain't listening, man, they got to start listening to what you're saying. If it ain't, because it ain't rosy, it ain't gravy, man. It's hard work out here. On average, my days are 10 hours to 14 hours. You know what I'm saying? I'm in this truck probably 10 hours a day, but every day I get home, I got to submit invoices. I've got to do all the administrative paperwork, fuel receipts and all this stuff and putting everything where it's supposed to do, reconciling the account.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's day over day, it doesn't stop.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for watching. I appreciate you for having the courage to even just say what you just said as far as striking the pedestrian. I think a lot of times people think when I be coming up with these scenarios, they be thinking that shit is for theatrics and they don't realize this shit happens every day. So I appreciate you even sharing that. So when I talk about structuring your business correctly, I always try to use the worst case scenarios because the worst case scenario, clearly, you've been through it. It happens, striking a pedestrian. And if your business is not structured right and you hit the right person meaning the right resources,
Doctor, lawyer,
the right Goldstein, Weinstein, Goldberg, Botnick.
Yeah.
Piercing the corporate veil can become a reality if you're not structured correctly. And, I don't know why people want to just own shit. And when I say that, I think it goes over a lot of people's head. I don't want to own anything. But I appreciate you for sharing that story because it shows that there are people out there that come across these unforeseen situations. And if you're not set up correctly, it could be very detrimental on you. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you for sharing that.
And the next thing that, like me and my wife are trying to do, we're trying to make sure that we get some trust established, get everything out of our names, and get umbrella policies, on top of that, so that, hey, whatever comes, we like walking through raindrops. It ain't touching us, so.
Yeah, man. Good. Appreciate you for calling, man. This is probably one of the more refreshing calls. Even people are saying that in the chat, it's good to hear good positive stories and people that are doing things right. Now I don't get a lot of those types of calls, as far as individuals that are doing things right. So I appreciate you for calling and just sharing that, man. I really do, man. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I was just telling this in the Discord yesterday, and I don't know. I think I kind of touched on it yesterday. My mood. It's like the calls that I've been getting lately is just depressing. And even though it's not me going through it, it's like, man, bro, like, why people don't get it, bro? why people don't get it. Now, I was in the Discord last night and I was talking. I was like, real, like when I be telling people I be having headaches, I think they think that shit is theatrics and it's not, bro. Like that lady that called, I don't know if you saw the show the other day with that lady that called.
Uh-huh.
Man, that shit gave me a
Georgia.
headache, bro. It gave me a headache because I'm just like, because I kept thinking, like, I don't know if it's me thinking, like, how are people this naive, bro?
Yeah.
And
And she mentioned that she's doing it for her son, but you gotta is that something that your son wants to do? She said that he's going to school to be a doctor. Why in the hell would he want to be a truck driver?
yeah, I think that was just an excuse because
Yeah.
you had a job with a 401k, you listened to a content creator, you pulled out your 401k, you lost it in this business. You see what I'm saying? The content creator wouldn't even talk to you until you had money, which is what made you go draw down your 401k. Like, I just think that was excuses. I can almost say that lady is selfish. I don't think she has her son's best interest in mind because if she did, she would be at home. She wouldn't be trying to do this again for the second time after already failing and still naive, like very naive, no lessons learned, hasn't educated yourself at all. So I just be sitting here just thinking to the point where it just gives me a headache. So it's good to finally, get a call that is more positive, listen to you talk, you're doing everything right. You even talked about when you get off, how you're reconciling and everything like that. Like you don't hear this verbiage. So certain verbiage, like you use that, it lets me know that you're on the right track because I can just listen to how you articulate yourself, the words you're using. So I know you're on the right track, and just keep up the good work, and man, it'll happen for you, man. It's gonna happen, man. Just stay consistent, man, and keep your head down, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And the thing is, man, people gotta that they like you said, that cost per mile. Don't nobody give a fuck about no cost per mile. Can you help me get to the bag or no?
Mm-hmm.
They gotta change that mentality, man. They gotta know their numbers and all this other stuff. For me personally, my cost per mile is $2.49 a mile. That's my break even. My what I want, my profit margin is about, I think it's 269 on top of that, right?
Mm.
And I average, like, with the direct shippers and everything like that, I average about $3.30 something cents per mile. That's round trip and everything that I do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so, and the reason in my cost per mile, I'm talking about every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cell phone plan, business internet plan,
Mm-hmm.
ELDs. We're talking, subscriptions for the QuickBooks, ADP subscription, 401k plan. All that stuff is tallied into, workers' comp. All that stuff. So when you want to talk about realistic numbers, that's where your numbers should be. I can't see, even, and my trucks are paid off. I just bought a truck on Sunday, paid cash for it. So I'm not even including that and recouping that money into my cost per mile. But I'm just, people aren't actually capturing all the things that, that they're actually paying for to really get a true cost per mile. And I got 4 individuals in my household, and they're all on payroll. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't paying them a whole lot, but they're on payroll, and I'm still paying those payroll fees to them. If you want to say, kids, what do you call it? What do you like not an allotment? What do their what do you call that thing?
Allowance
Type stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I use business. You know what I'm saying? I pay them for their chores, and then they do help out with the business filing stuff. Putting things away. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Filing invoices and rate cons and stuff like that. Scanning receipts and putting it away. So I kind of I do that through the business. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, and like I said, man, if people have to really sit down and figure, it takes, I would say, getting started when people want to know how do I figure out my cost per mile. After about a good month, your first month, you should be able to take the information that you just said yesterday and be able to everything you spent money on and divide that by the by the miles and figure out and the income. This is what my cost per mile is. You have average things that you pay for is fuel, it fluctuates. Food, if you're out, you may fluctuate the amount of that. But you have those things that are coming in on a routine basis, those subscriptions, truck payments, insurance, all that stuff is the numbers are there. Like you told the guy to do to go go through his QuickBooks and analyze what he's spending the money on. Have the one account where everything is coming in and going out. It's easy to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yep. I agree with you 100%. 100%. 100%. But I appreciate the call, man.
all right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. You're doing a great job. Like I said, man, just keep it up. Stay motivated. And starting to see other people. I still follow some other people, man. They're copying everything you do. I see their stories and their things coming up 2 days, 3 days after you beat and posted it, subjects and topics. I'm like, man, they starting to get it from Mark now because they ain't got nothing else.
Man, you know how it is, man. They gonna follow the leader, big dog. You dig? That's just what come along with it, bro. So.
All right, man. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I'll let somebody else chime in and call. But man, you're doing a good job.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the call.
Yep.
All right, man. 312-772-5483. 5483. Once the timer strikes 0, I'm gone. Timer strikes 0, I'm gone. 312-772-5483. The like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. 312-772-5483. 5483. Call in segment of the show. The clock strikes 0. We end the show for today. Tomorrow is Friday. I got a good show prepared for tomorrow. Good show to prepare. Gonna hurt some. It might not hurt no feelings. I don't know. Depend on who the person. Depend on how you living. Depend on how you living. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I've been holding this show back. for the right time. I think tomorrow is the right time. So got a good show for tomorrow. Call in 312-772-5483. 312-254-83. You dig? Opportunities are endless. You have to work hard and drum up the work. Yes, sir, ski. Got 2.5 minutes left. That clock hit 0. Gonna call it one. 312-772-5483. See. Mm-mm. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. 312 Shem 2 5483. Mm-mm-mm. Shout out to Rich in the building. Shout out to Beats, Chucky in the building, Chris in the building. Who else we got? 608 in the building. Shout out to Jabari in the building. Y Gig, CTR. Well, Sosa Not Sammy in the building. Shout out to James Dixon in the building. Mm-mm-mm. You said some take 30 to 90 days. You gonna pass on it? And if you dealing with direct business contracts at scale and you charging a premium money, shit, you gotta wait. The hardest part about net anything, net 30, net 90, net 45, excuse me, pay when they get paid. I'm gonna be honest with you. The hardest part about it is the beginning because of the lag. Once you get over the lag and the money starts flowing in consistently, then the lag is what is the hardest part. So for instance, if you get a contract and it pays net whatever, but you getting consistent work, consistent invoices, the first period is going to be the hardest because you're constantly working and sending trucks and paying payroll and the cost to do the work until you get that first payment. But all that work that you're invoicing during that period is a net. So boom, when it first kicks in, then it'll flow smoothly after that. It's just that lag from the first whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like for instance, when I started cross docking, I didn't get the first payment until months later, right? Because it's a you get paid when we get paid. But as those invoices started to get paid, I started to see settlements come in more consistently, and then they finally got weekly, and they fluctuated depending on what was getting paid versus what wasn't getting paid. But that first 4, 5, 6 months wasn't nothing. 45 days, 60 days, wasn't nothing coming in. And then it was sporadic until we had generated enough work 7 days a week that was being closed out, that was going through the process for accounts payable, till we got to a point where now we're getting weekly settlements. The settlements are fluctuating because it's paid when we get paid, but something's coming in weekly. You just got to get through that initial point, which is the lag. And the lag could be, it all depends on what it is you're doing. So, but that's a part of dealing directly with businesses. That's the part dealing with contract work. That's the part of when you're doing your own warehousing and cross docking. This is what comes along with it. If you want to scale, you got to get out of the mind frame of independent contractor. You can't think and operate like an independent contractor. If you want to be a big dog, you got to operate like a big dog. Big dogs ain't fretting no invoice the same day. Now, you can take it how you want to take it. I'm just telling you what it is in reality and truth, and having to deal with it and have dealt with it. Imagine being 8 months behind, or a company owing you 8 months worth of money. Could you do that? A lot of people wouldn't be able to do that. But when you get to a certain level and you're dealing with certain things, you want to do big dog shit, you got to act like a big dog. You can't be a big dog company, but then bugging a motherfucker for a $500 invoice. It's just what it is. All right. I think I covered this earlier. You might have came in late, but you need to find a business and you need to find a void in the marketplace and be a problem, solve a problem, be the solution for a problem that a business has. So you have to look for a business that has a problem and solve the problem for them. You need to look for that void and come up with a solution. So if you have one truck, you don't have a footprint. So that means you have to go look. When you get a footprint, companies will just call you all day. People will find you. You got a footprint. You got a fleet of trucks out. They're branded. You got a footprint in the marketplace from a word of mouth perspective, reputation. Also, you were SEO'd really, really well in Google. You have a plethora of reviews on multiple platforms via Yelp, Google, Thumbtack, Angie's Leads. The list goes on. So when you have that digital footprint and that physical footprint in the marketplace, more people will come to you. One truck operation, you don't have that. So you have to go source those opportunities. So you have to find companies that have a problem and solve them. You have to find that void in the marketplace. And I gave an example of that earlier. I did like a little role play earlier. You got to go back and listening to the lecture because I gave an example of that, earlier. All right, so the phone line is closed. I'm actually not going to wait around like I've been doing because then that's when them sad calls start coming in. I don't want to hear no more sad calls the rest of the week. So I am going to shut the line down and call it one and get my behind to the gym early so I can actually get on all the machines that I want to get on. Appreciate everybody for watching. Catch you tomorrow. Peace.
Stay nice, same chair, same ground, right there. Turn it on, lean in close, this that. Welcome to the Mark, the mentor show, where the plans turn real and the hustlers grow. Talk money, talk mindset, talk get it, let's go. If you came from the bottom, it's the road you know. It's the Mark, the mentor show. Every loss, every lesson, turn it all to gold. From the late night notes to the sold out goals. Say the name one time so the whole world know.